welcome to Burning Waters of the Moon Tarot. My name is Desiree, and this video is a reading for the energy of Aries. So I'm using the True Black Tarot by Arthur Wang. This is Lux Ex Umbra by Mystic, and this is Earth, Moon, and Shadow Oracle by Serafina Mesa. And we will draw an oracle card at the end of the reading to tie everything together. Okay, as I said at the beginning of the video, this is for the energy of Aries. And what I mean by that is that we all have Aries in our charts by way of the house system. So you may or may not have a planet in the sign of Aries, but you most certainly have a house in the sign of Aries. And what that means is that we can all access these energies if we need them, if and when we need them. Okay, sometimes they might be a little bit harder for us to access, or we just need a little practice to get there, but they are there, and we can use them. So perhaps you just need a little bit of motivation and inspiration to get yourself going, to start a project, or to finally decide to go back to school, and you can call upon that Aries energy just to go ahead and just jump right in and get started. Initiate that project that initiate that action that you have been thinking about doing but have not. All right, that is my last shuffle for you, Aries. Now let's see what is going on with you. Okay, so we've got the 10 of Swords in reverse, air energy. Then we've got the Hanged Man in reverse, major arcana, and then the 2 of Cups in reverse as well, water energy. Okay, so with our major arcana here, the Hanged Man usually begs us to look at things in a different way. Instead, the way that we're looking at it, it needs us to kind of shift our perspective in a way. And with it being in reverse, it's almost like you have the correct perspective. You're looking at it in a way that is proper and that it needs to be looked at. We do have a 10 of Swords here, which is like an ending. So there is like an abrupt kind of decisive ending, but it looks, with it being in reverse, it looks like it's lingering a bit, and it could be that it's involving a relationship. We have our 2 of Cups, water here. So perhaps this ending that is kind of lingering hasn't quite left the building. Maybe you're still kind of holding on to it because the emotional attachment, but you're looking at it in the correct way. You're looking at it as maybe an ending, or you're even looking at it as perhaps it doesn't really need to be an ending, or that you don't actually want it to end. And it could even mean that, it's time for a new beginning. It's time for, even though this part may have ended, it can be resurrected in a way, but with a different energy being brought towards it. So what I'm going to do is draw 9 more cards from the Lux Ex Umbra Tarot, and that's going to help us dive into this message a little bit deeper, Aries. Let me split the deck here. And I do like there is a relationship. The 2 of Cups it indicates that there is a relationship that this is having to deal with. It can be a love relationship, a friendship. A situation in which feelings are reciprocated. Okay. Right, Aries, let's see what we have for you. So we've got the 5 of Swords, air energies. We've got Justice in reverse, major arcana. We have the 7 of Cups. We have the 4 of Swords in reverse, water, air. We have the King of Coins. This deck is in French, by the way, in reverse. And then we've got the Queen of Cups, upright. Then we've got the Page of Coins in reverse. and the Five of Pentacles in reverse, and Death in reverse, major arcana. Okay. Okay, I had to take a quick intermission here. Children. Okay, let's see. So our three major arcana, we've got the Hanged Man, Justice, and Death in reverse. So we do have this right here with our relationship, our Two of Cups in reverse. We have the Queen of Cups, and this card is Water of Water. And I feel like though this relationship has come to an end, I think you're kind of you're good with this. You do it, because we have Death in reverse over here, which, you know, is change, transformation. And because it's in reverse, I get the feeling that you're kind of, there was still work to be done here. I feel that, but then we've got the King of Coins, and that's in reverse as well. And our kings, all of our kings are air, and this king happens to be in the suit of earth. So he's heir of earth, and meaning that he's a very good, he's a planner. He brings things into this realm, and he works with them, and he kind of gets down in there, and he's a master at his craft. And it's almost, it really feels like these two, Death and the King of Coins, are in direct contrast of one another. You know, they're like, this is resisting change, and then this one here is not really, he's not building, right? And so I feel like there's definitely some work that needs to be done. And that's probably what it is. That's why this Queen of Cups is here, is because she needs to have the empathy and the understanding of the needs of this relationship. So, like I said before, you're looking at things properly. You're looking at it the way it needs to be looked at. And the way that you're looking at it is the Seven of Cups. You really feel like you can come into this situation and bring a lot more of good energy to it. 7 is a very magical number. And because this Lux Ex Umbra Tarot is more of a Marseille style deck, I don't necessarily read it like RWS. And so instead of this being, you know, choices or head in the clouds type energy, I read this as more of that mystical number, that higher level of thinking, almost like the God number in a way. And and I feel like there is more that you can pour into this relationship. And now it's very curious that this Four of Swords is in reverse, because I feel like this would be upright, but it might be the reason why that, the reason why that it is in reverse is because it's like your mind is telling you that this is a bad idea, but your heart wants you to come back into this, and it's looking like that is the way that you need to go, not necessarily listen to your mind. And, you know, I heard a quote one time that if you can separate the mind from the heart, and you can get them to work together, but as separate entities, that will lead you in the right direction. Like instead of letting your heart do all the thinking for you, allow your mind to put in its 2 cents, and then allow your heart to put in the 2 cents, and get those two to, like the 7, the chariot, harnessing those two energies, those two polar opposite energies, and getting them to work synergistically. And so that's what I'm thinking is what needs to happen here, is that you've got to separate your heart from your mind. And though it might seem more logical for you to stay away from this, because of course your mind is like, you've been hurt before, and this has happened, and listing all of these things, but your heart is like, but this person needs you, this is something that needs to be worked on, and you need to help this person out of the kindness of your heart, and out of the love that you have for that person. And that's the energy that I'm seeing here, is to follow the heart instead of listening to the logical mind. And where I was going with that separation of the two is getting the heart to know and understand itself, and having the mind know and understand itself, and then getting them to come to a decision together, like almost like a democratic type thing, but the US has a democratic government, we still can't agree. But that's the overall energy, is not to be controlled by one or the other, but to kind of put all the information that each one has, and then make the decision going forward with that information. We do have this 5 of Pentacles in reverse. And the 5 of Pentacles, or the 5s in numerology, you have the 4, which is harmony, stability, and then the 5 kind of pops up and just kind of messes things up. But the 5 creates change, and the 5, I feel, is that 5th element that kind of connects us to the upper world. It's kind of shooting us out from the stability and happiness and the things that we are most comfortable with, and then it takes us to a different plane. And so with this 5 being in reverse, I do feel like there is the potentiality for this relationship to take you into another plane. Also here with death being kind of in the background, transmuting, transformation. With it being in reverse, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're resistant to it. It just means that energy is there. The energy is there, and it's not being accessed. It's not being worked with at the time, at this present moment. But what I see happening here is that you putting your energies, your love, and empathy and compassion into this relationship is what the 2 of you need. The 2 of you sort of need each other. You need each other to heal one another's wounds. And one of the things that I've learned in therapy is that you seek out those people who can press your buttons. And you seek those people out because they can press those buttons, they can heal those buttons, and they'll no longer be a source of pain for you, or a source of trauma. And it's a whole deep theory, and very lengthy to go in and explain. But it's the imago theory if you're interested. But we seek out people who can heal us, and that's why you kind of have a type. That's why you kind of always choose like the bad boy or whatever, and so because you seek out those certain people who have traits that can press your buttons, but they can, if given the right opportunity and the right circumstances and environment, those buttons can be healed by that person, by that love interest. Okay, so now we're coming over here. Now, like I said, there was an ending that's not really wanting to quit here. We do this 5, like I said, 5 is that number that pushes you up into that next plane. And with this being in the swords energy, I feel like you kind of understand that this is not a true ending. We've got the Page of Coins here, and interestingly enough, we've got our 2 quartz in the earth energy, and they're both in reverse, and so, and I'm brought to my attention is brought to these 3 cards, these 2 earths and this Justice card. So I really feel like there is still work to be done on this plane in the physical, and working with this relationship is really going to like balance things out. It's going to balance you 2 out, and in order for that to happen, there has to be kind of a meeting of the minds, a moving to a different plane with one another. So you 2, you know, you've kind of gone through the water energy of being in love, and then that fiery passion that was there, and then, you know, you've kind of made your life with one another, and now it's really time to go into this mental realm of going into another plane of understanding one another. And I think that is the healing that needs to be done. That's what I'm seeing here anyway. And that's why this 10, you know, this, what's supposed to be an ending, a final ending, you know, being stabbed 10 times, that's pretty intense. That should be the end, but it's like an end that's not ready to quit. And so that's why I really feel like this is a relationship that is meant to heal both of you guys. And you know, you probably are having a hard time like walking away from it. You know, you probably, like, your mind is just saying, it's time to go. Like, she just cannot hurt you anymore. This is the last straw. But you know, it takes 2. Okay, it takes 2, both in wronging. Well, most of the time, I'm sure there's instances where it's just one person who's just like evil and bad. but it takes 2, for the most part. And there's things that you have done and things that the other person has done, and then pressing of buttons that haven't been resolved and healed. And so I think deep down you feel that you still want to work with this person to make it work. And there's no shame in that. I mean, especially people who've been together a long time, you know, you've been through a lot with one another. There's all kinds of situations that arise and things like that. And there's no shame in forgiveness. There really isn't. There really isn't. As long as you can totally forgive and also heal from that. So let's go ahead and draw from the Earth, Moon, and Shadow. And let's see what Serafina Mesa has to say. This is a beautiful deck. I have done flip throughs of all 3 of these decks, by the way, and I have the links in the description. So if you are interested in watching a flip through and seeing all these beautiful cards, please do check it out. All right, let me do a split. Okay, I need to do one more shuffle. No, it's not. Sometimes it just doesn't feel complete, you know? You know, kind of like when you eat a half a cookie and you're just like, well, I don't feel satiated. All right, let's see. Aries. The Scavenger. Desperation, scarcity, and wanting. Interesting. Okay. Not what I would have thought. Okay. The root of all suffering is attachment. The Buddha says there are 3 poisons that will rot the human soul: delusion, desire, and hatred. As humans, we live in a world where we are constantly bombarded by these poisons in the form of advertisements, social media, and television. We slave away at jobs we hate just to buy more stuff and things because of the fear of missing out. We are fed and consume all that we can possibly grasp with reckless abandon and pure gluttony, often at the expense of our planet, our health, and our own sanity. When the scavenger is revealed in a reading, it is asking us to end a cycle of suffering. We must let go of the delusions of this earthly plane and embrace the non-attachment and the groundlessness. The feeling of scarcity and inadequacy is a cycle of negative energy we have been caught up in for quite a while. We are being called by the Spirit to go higher. The universe can see we are weary and is asking us to just stop. Stop chasing, stop fixating, and focus on attracting that which actually feeds our soul and nourishes our life. When we leave behind the grasping, desperate energies and instead focus on building up the energies of gratitude, compassion, and generosity, we become a powerful abundance magnet. The magnificent magnet pulls from the universe all that we need to thrive and succeed in this lifetime, and it sends it directly towards us. No more desperation, no more wanting. When we are confident that what we are asking for is in alignment with our spiritual path and the rhythm of the universe, we will always attract and receive not only what we need, but an abundance of joy and peace we never knew possible. Okay, so perhaps desperation, scarcity, and wanting. I mean, all I can think of is perhaps there is some kind of desperation or scarcity thinking that the relationship was possibly built on. And so perhaps it's time to rebuild this relationship made up of different components instead of what it was initially built upon, kind of start from the ground up. And really the only way to do that is to get into some therapy. I, of course, recommend Imago because that's the system that my husband and I have been using. We're still in therapy and it has helped us tremendously. I like the theory that it's built upon, and it really resonates with me, and I can completely understand and see it. And it goes along with the healing of one another, and I think that's a beautiful thing for a couple to experience with one another, to actually heal each other. It's amazing. So perhaps that's kind of what needs to happen. Don't quite give up right now, and I don't think your heart wants to, and there's no shame in forgiveness. So with that note, I'm going to thank you for watching. If you know of anybody who can benefit from this reading, please share. Hopefully we can help them out or help somebody out, Okay, take care, and I will see you next reading. Bye now.